Good morning and welcome. Welcome to my live stream, Fight CPS, and I'm your host, Bob Pace. And it is a warm welcome because you're now faced with a reality of fighting CPS. Now, what I call CPS is the Child Protection Systems. It's found in every county, every state, and also every country. We are a wide world live stream, meaning that anybody that has internet anywhere in the world can listen in. You find me on Facebook, Fighting CPS. I have 7 rooms. I'll take you to the YouTube room that I'm transmitting in, which is called the CPS Defense Attorney Vince Davis. That's the room that I am. And the 7 Facebook rooms all channel into there. And I'm here as someone that had a horrible experience in CPS, and I wanted to share my experiences and help you all. I'm not an attorney. I'm a loving father and a husband. I've helped raise 7 children, and I have 42 years of marriage. I have a lot of life skills, and one of the skills is CPS, and that's what I'm here to talk about. It's very important that we come here together, and I have a lot of my regulars in this room that are called family, that respect one another. We're not here to pick on one another, and we got to be positive and kind to one another. And I really encourage you all to interact in this live stream. One way is to text a message. Now, I use StreamYard as my software application. And to text a message, such as a comment or a question, it should pertain to CPS. And that's really important. If somebody in here starts typing a lot about other things, then I have no way. Then I have to delete the chat, or even worse than that, is ban the person from the room. I don't want to do that. Also, if you're mean to one another, including me, I don't want to delete you either. So it's very important that we're very constructive in here. Hello, little nugget. I remember you. Good to see you. Good morning. And my little nugget, I haven't seen you for a little bit. And what's the latest with you? Now, when you text a message, please state your first name, your city or county, your state, and of course, country. There are 22 countries that have texted in here or called in. Yes, called in. I've had calls from United Kingdom and South Africa. I've also talked to someone from every state of the union, some more than one person from that state. I've talked to the District of Columbia. So there's a lot of experience that I've talked to people, over 1,500 people, over 1,500 people I've talked to. I've been doing this for 18 months, since October of 2023. Also, please tell me about your CPS case from the beginning to where you're at. From the beginning to where you're at. Now, what I call CPS, it stands for the Child Protection Systems that are found in every county, every state, and worldwide. They'll have various names, like in LA County, California, it's called the Department of Children and Family Services. Next door in Orange County is called the Child Protection Services. and Prescott, Arizona's Department of Children's Services. In Richmond, Kentucky, it's called the Cabinet. But they all are child protection systems, so that's why I use CPS, the letter CPS. Now, CPS in the United States was created by Congress. Congress told social services that they like the social workers to look after and protect our children from neglect and abuse. It's been going on for a long time. It's been going on for over 400 years. In our colonial days, in the 1600s, there was a case. CPS has now divided the protection of children into three eras. First era is from 1600 to 1875. In 1875, the Wild West was being settled, and then the Indians themselves were being forced onto reservations, and their children were taken or stolen and put in Indian schools, their hair cut, their traditions erased, their language erased. And these children later, after the Indian schools, were adopted by families and forgot all about their way of life. It wasn't until 1978 when Congress passed the Indian Child Welfare Act, where it basically told that CPS must turn over children to the Indian tribe on their reservations if they're found to be Indian, of Indian blood. Now, most Indian tribes require 25%. And there is a process where you can get registered if you're not registered. There's 548 federal recognized Indian tribes by the federal government of the USA. And if you're registered with that tribe, then what happens is that you're not hauled off by CPS. Instead, you're turned over to the Indian tribe, who puts you up with an Indian family for reunification with your parents. One of the sad things from 1875 to 1978 was that Indian children were constantly being stolen by CPS, never get to see their families. So there's a lot of history that goes on. The next period is from 1875 to 1962. And that was done pretty much, children were taken care of by societies, people that had a lot of money. But the needs were not being met. So that's why Congress in 62 created the child protection system within social services. So from 1962 to the present, that's the modern day CPS. It wasn't until 1974 that the laws were passed that could enforce the protection of children from abuse and neglect. Over 1,000 children every day go unreported. And Little Nugget says, I've been stressing lately. I know you have, but I'm glad you come in here. I'll try to help you. I had a court date on the 21st, and we set the date for trial in San Diego County for the pre-trial May 20th and trial May 20th. I'm trying to retain Mr. Davis, but at the moment I don't have the whole retainer. I know. I'm so sorry. I really am. In one lump sum, I get paid um, $5,000 a month from the Native American tribe. So I was trying to find a finance company. Do you know any good ones that can help me? Now, I remember a little nugget that you're part of a federal recognized tribe. Why have they not registered you? What is wrong with the tribe? If they registered you, you're no longer a part of CPS. You then work with your reservation and getting your children back. What happened to your registration with your Native American Indian tribe? Another way to be interactive on this podcast is to be a guest on the live stream. Please email our show producer, Grace, at vincentwdavis.com with the date and time you want to be on the show. Now, I have 14 shows. I'm on Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. On the weekend, I'm on at 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time. Now, in the evening, I'm on at 7 p.m., 7 days a week. So that's 14 shows. So just email Grace. You want to be on Bob's Saturday morning show or Friday night show or Wednesday morning or Tuesday night show. You just tell Grace the day and either AM or PM. That's all she needs to know. She'll send you a link. Don't lose it. The link will get you on StreamYard, which I use as a software application. And if you get bounced, redo the link again. That link is good for the show. Now, when you're a guest, she'll send you the link, and then she will let you tell you what you can do and not do, such as don't use names, do not eat or smoke on the show. She'll help you out with other things too. Now, the last way you can interact is to call in right now. My phone is going to be live, and you can call in and talk to me at 626 698 0990. That phone number, you can reach me right now during my show. It's live. It's at 626 698 0990. Also, if you need an attorney, you can talk to me from 8 a.m. in the morning to 10 a.m. in the morning, or from 11 a.m. in the morning to 1 p.m. in the afternoon. That's Monday through Friday. You can call that number during those times and ask how to retain Mr. Davis. So I'll leave that number up. The other number that's up, 888-888-6582, is the law offices of Vincent W. Davis. There you can talk to reception. Make sure you tell them that Bob Pace sent you. And when you talk to Mr. Davis, tell them that Bob Pace sent you. That's important. He needs to know. Now, when you do call into reception, you can get an attorney like Mr. Davis who knows everything there is in juvenile law and family law in dependency court. Those are the areas of law you need to be dealing with: juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. Those three. Now, a little nugget. What is your status with the tribe? The tribe down there. I think you're in. Are you in? I forgot what location you're in. What Indian tribe do you belong to, or you think you belong to, or you registered to belong to? I want to help you, little nugget. I want to thank for the emojis. That's so sweet. That's Sir Pogarel and Dorothy Cook. I've heard of Dorothy Cook, but Serene Raw Pogarel, I have no idea where you're from, but that's great. Thank you for the hearts, and also thank you for the thumbs up. I do have people of the Congo. I think my first South Africa was the first one. So anyway, I'm open for discussions and talks. My phone number is up. And by the way, if you call in on that number or you are a guest on my show, you're entitled to a free 15-minute consultation with Mr. Davis. That means a one-on-one with a real attorney. And he will talk to you about your case. Just make a list of questions and prioritize them, so the right questions get answered first if you run out of time. But anyway, you get a free 15-minute private Zoom meeting with Mr. Davis, either by calling on the phone or okay. Little nugget, I'm trying to help you with your stress. Talk to me. I want to help you. Is you say you have a pre-trial May 20th and a trial May 30th. What is the trial about? What's the trial about? Now, as far as getting loans, I was not very successful. All I had to do was quick sell my home, take half the value, which is pretty much what you get when you half sell a home. And that's what I would use for the 5,000 retainer that was quoted to you. Now, things I can talk about while we're waiting for a little nugget to talk are news topics that are the latest news. There's a lot of them. Also, there's other topics I can talk about, like the ICWA, the Indian Child Welfare Act, or how to file a 388 motion, or what is a 160 hearing, what is a 180 hearing, how to find an attorney, how to get that attorney. Another thing I can talk about is documentation, how to document. Getting an attorney and documentation were things I felt when I had my case I wish I had done because I would never have lost my children. Now, I want to check the news, so let me see here. Yesterday, it was a sad story about a 14-year-old Apache woman that was from a tribe in Arizona that was missing from her foster home in the Mesa area of Arizona, where a child ran away from the home. Now, one of the most notable newsworthy events was at the beginning of the year when Congress passed the largest overhaul of the nation's child welfare system in more than 15 years. The reform includes more support for kinship care, now, what happened there is that the reform include more support for kinship care. That means all family members are part of the family for reunification. Aging out youth, meaning that they were keeping youth after 18 for money purposes. They need to be aged out. They're 18, they are an adult. If there's special needs, the parents can adopt them for special needs. Now, another area was the aging out youth I was talking about. At 18, you're an adult, and CPS was keeping them around for 19 because I have a CPS host here, Danielle, who still comes on my show, whose son was kidnapped by CPS in Texas. He was transferred from Georgia to Texas using the interstate compact placement for children. The third area was efforts to prevent the separation of families due to poverty. And lately, that's really been a big uh, push by CPS to take victims of the fire victims and the floods and the hurricanes on the East Coast straightly into foster care just because they're homeless. Now, Dorothy Cook has a question. Are court appointed attorneys required to file appeal of a case decision if the parent they're assigned to represents asked to do so? It's my understanding they're supposed to take care of all legal matters regarding your case, including appeals. If they don't perform, you can tell them, I'll sue you for malpractice and negligence. Further, I will call the state capitol and file a complaint against you, which would jeopardize your license to practice law in that state. So hopefully that answers your question, Dorothy Cook. A court appointed attorney isn't trained in juvenile law or family law or dependency law, but they need to file a appeal. So don't let them try to buffalo you, Dorothy Cook. And I think Dorothy Cook, if I'm not mistaken, is from North Carolina. Am I right? So hopefully that will help you there. Little Nugget, are you still okay? You still there? I would love to talk to you about your case if you can, Little Nugget. Now, a half hour has gone by on my show and still no calls. Still no calls. My number is 626 698 0990. And if you call into that number or you're a guest on my live stream, you'll get a particular bonus. Now, Dorothy says, yes, sir, 3 counties, Nash, Ecombe, and Wilson County. And what state is that, Dorothy? That's North Carolina, right? Is that North Carolina? Little Nugget, are you still around? What's the name of your American Indian tribe? Yep, I guessed it right. Thank you, Dorothy Cook. So don't let CPS fool you. Don't let CPS fool you. All right, we got a call coming in. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, hi. This is Bob Pace with the Law Office of Vincent W. Davis. I'm on a live stream about CPS, fighting CPS. How can I help you?
This is Dorothy Cook.
Oh, hi, Dorothy Cook from North Carolina. I was just away looking at North Carolina Child Protection Service appoints attorneys for child abuse, neglect, or dependency cases. If you're charged with crime, you can request a court-appointed attorney. But it does not answer me about appeals. I'm just double checking. But they are supposed
Yes,
to
sir.
do that. They are supposed to give you help with your appeals. Now, it takes a special kind of attorney to do appeals. So it may not be the same court appointed attorney.
Okay.
Now,
Well, with my case, sir,
yes, ma'am.
with my case, I didn't even realize it was going to remove custody of my daughter from me because they found my daughter safe with me. First, Nash County came and said she was safe with me. Then Edgecombe County came out 2 weeks later, found her safe with me. And I don't know what all the situation and circumstances are, but a lot of things went on that shouldn't have went on. And all of a sudden, the police came to the house and they escorted her away. And they gave me documents, and they had to be fraudulent documents because it had another child's name on it, as well as my daughter on some of those papers. And it had that I had a 15-year-old daughter. I was putting my child in danger of being sexually abused, and I don't even have a 15-year-old daughter at that time.
Well, CPS is notoriously stupid. They'll use old forms, old warrants. So you never can trust that. What you can usually do to diffuse the situation is be nice to them and tell them, I need my attorney present before we talk any further. I need to have representation since this is a legal matter. And you need to get a hold of your attorney. They don't know if you don't have an attorney or can't afford one. The only time you want to use a court appointed attorney is when you don't have money for a real attorney.
Well, I think they were sincerely angry because they denied my daughter to go to school for about 3 years in a row because I had filed a petition with the North Carolina Office of Administrative Hearing against the school district we were staying in, and their EC director had assaulted me during the resolution meeting for that court case.
Uh-huh.
And then the school board attorney sent me a letter saying that I can no longer communicate with any school system employees. I couldn't go on school system property if I would. They would lock me up for trespassing. And I contacted the judge that was managing the case at the North Carolina Office of Administrative Hearing, and one of them responded back and told me if I went on to the school grounds to throw my child in school, that they wouldn't guarantee I wouldn't get locked up.
Wow.
And then I went to the district attorney's office and asked them, because of truancy, can you prosecute these people and make my child let her go to school? What can y'all do to help me get her in school? And they told me it was nothing. They didn't have any laws on the docket or anything on the docket that they could go against the school system with for not letting her go to school. I went to social services. The social worker told me that they couldn't investigate the school system because the school system was not her parent. But if I would have did what they were doing, they would put me in jail. And these same people, after she gets enrolled in school, I lost housing and moved and had to go to another county to stay, which was Edgecombe County. Nash at first in Edgecombe. Well, then, ma'am, we sorry, but after the social services get involved or whatever, and she tell us, you want to enroll your daughter in school? Yes, ma'am. So we do that. And then after I get her enrolled in school, and we have it recorded, that she's enrolled, they put her in homebound education because they wouldn't know where to put her at because now she's about 14, and they would have to put her in the 3rd or 4th grade because of them denying her years of education. So it was we'll do homebound education and get this started or whatever. And then somewhere in between them doing the homebound education because of the holidays coming up. They said we're going to start January the 6th after the holidays, and we're going to have a homebound education. Then somewhere in between that, the school system got together with social services and decided that they changed her setting to having her enrolled in school in homebound education like we did, to having her enrolled in school where her supposed to be going to kids school, but they didn't tell me and my daughter. And then I found out that the director of social services was also on that county school board. So I filed a complaint against them with the U.S. Department of Education Office of Civil Rights, saying that they denied her right to enroll in a 10 school immediately using the McKinney-Vento law, homeless assistance program. And then all of a sudden, that director of social services got mad and took my child. But then they have it documented where they say one of the other social workers had got mad because she came to the house with me and rude and disrespectful and told me to tell on her. So I posted her on my Facebook page. And there's so many things that these people have documented that I know ain't none of the truth. But the judge didn't know anything about family court and all of that. The judge told me, and this lawyer that they assigned, I didn't even know I had, told me that I couldn't talk to my daughter's adjudication court date. So I stood in the courtroom like a fool, not knowing that I could, because they said I couldn't.
Wow. Now, your appeal, by the way, can be done by a court-appointed attorney. Now,
but he told me no. He told me no. When I asked him to do the appeal, he told me no, and he told me that social services said they would never give my child back. And I found the director of social services stepped down because I went to the Department of Health and Human Services over her and filed a complaint for not due process, but conflict of interest, because she was duly employed. She was a school board member for the same school board my child was enrolled in school in, and she's also the director of social services. So she was covering up for herself and her constituents.
Okay.
So she just had committed government corruption. I mean, she did what she had to do to make sure they didn't get in trouble. She didn't care about my child. And then they told me that if I would give them a copy of my psychological evaluation, they would give me back my child. And that would be the only way that they did it. And I did that. And evidently it must have said what they wanted to say. But when they did my daughter's evaluation, one of the ones that did my daughter, they said that they harmed her, they damaged her by removing her from my custody. That made them even more mad.
Yep.
So, sir, it's just been a lot of, I know it's definitely wasn't legal, but I mean, I didn't know because, like I said, when they told me, ma'am, you can't speak now. The only time you can speak is your daughter's adjudication.
That's not true. If you have a lawyer representing you in court, they can ask you to speak. All the lawyer has to do is approach the bench and say that my client would like to say something. And that way he recognizes you and you're allowed to speak in court.
Well, I got rid of her.
Oh.
Because, I mean, with that attorney, once I found out that she had did what she did, I filed a motion in court. She removed herself. Said she no longer wanted to be my attorney because I said she was being insufficient. Visit with my visitation rights, so I filed a motion in court and requested, because they didn't even put my daughter, give me an opportunity. The social workers chose my collaterals.
Right.
I didn't even know I was supposed to choose my collateral. They chose the people, and which was one of the people from the school board, one of the school employees, and the child's father as my collateral. And ain't no way. I didn't know that I was supposed to have done that myself. I didn't even know they were doing it because they never gave me, they never told me anything I had to do because they always said she was safe with me. Nothing was wrong.
Now,
so they never gave me anything to do.
I know that in North Carolina, the state bar is the governing body for lawyers, and it keeps a list of lawyers who are certified specialists in different areas of the law. And you can look up that information online. All you do is look up the North Carolina State Bar. Is Raleigh the capital of North Carolina?
Yes, sir.
Right, in Raleigh. That's where the state bar is. And it is a directory of all licensed attorneys. And you can search by name or by city and state. And the information, go ahead.
Some of the government corruption they have in North Carolina, just like when the EC director assaulted me, they told me they wouldn't file charges against her because she was a government official.
Well,
and then once one of the other senators got involved, they went and did a police report. They allowed me to file a police report with assault against her assaulting me. But then after that, the police department years later, after told me that they could they never send it to the DA's office. So they just transferred her to another school system to work in the state of North Carolina, and never did anything. And I've been waiting, and I'm trying to figure out how can you let somebody assault somebody, and y'all make a fictitious police report through on the assault.
Wow. Well,
they never did, and I got that in recording. They saying they're still not going to. So.
Well, I know that the group called Doge, DOGE.gov. That's the website. Doge. That is the government agency that's created by our president in January, and they're investigating all government entities that are corrupt. And right now, they're investigating social services. CPS is a part of social services. They're the ones that created CPS in 1962. And so Doge is finding out a lot of things. I have not heard anything they've found out about CPS.
So is it capital DOGE or just lower level?
It's capital, well, it's just put in, let me just hold it, DOGE.gov. And let me see what it takes me to. Yeah, that's the Department of the Government Efficiency. D stands for Department, O is of, government is G, and E is efficiency.
Okay. I get you, and I do appreciate it. Because a lot of this it just doesn't make any sense because, like I said, a lot of things I didn't know and a lot of other parents don't know. And if somebody tell you to be quiet, you can't talk in court. So I just stood there and said nothing because they told me I couldn't. The judge and the lawyer, my lawyer, told me I couldn't speak then.
You can speak.
We're saying I didn't have nothing to say because I was scared they would.
This efficiency, the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, Gov, was established in January 25. And they have a phone number, 2 phone numbers that you can call them in Washington, D.C. It's area code 202.
202?
Yeah, I'm looking for the numbers here.
Yes, sir. Thank you so very much, sir.
Yeah.
Because, I have the documents that can prove, because I recorded some of the conversations and I deal with them by emails because my seizures, my disabilities, whatever. So I have receipts where they contacted me back and they even have 2 of the documents changed from where they had it saved to then they changed it to having it saved and enrolled a child in school, but she was enrolled in school.
Right. All right, this number will go to the White House, is where DOG is located. It's 202-456-1111. Or it's 202-456-1414. Yeah. And people are allowed to call. I called the Capitol. I called Congress once, and spoke to a clerk there who got me numbers from one of the congressmen that I wanted to talk to. So this is a working number, so it should go through.
Well, I thank you so much, sir. And I definitely will be looking into it because a lot of it just doesn't make any sense how people can legally do things like that, and there's no punishment for them. I mean, it's just nothing.
Right, Dorothy, because you have a very bad case because where your case is located, that's a very corrupt child protection system. Because they're like the way you explained it to me, how crooked they are, using a false document. Now, did they say that document was a warrant? What did they call that document?
The document that the police officer gave it to me. And when he came in, escorted my daughter out. So the social workers, I mean, it was all police officers came. I mean, carloads of them came.
What was what was the document? Was it a warrant?
It had information on it, but it didn't have a judge's name on it.
Okay, let me tell you. Let me tell you what a warrant is supposed to have on it. It's a single sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11. It's not a PDF file, and at the very top, it says the word warrant.
No, sir, it wasn't a warrant then. I didn't see that word.
Right.
I definitely remember that one.
Yeah, and it'll say it will say the name of the person, which would be you, or if your husband was involved, or other people involved, are listed with either negligence or abuse to the following children, and the children's names will be listed. Further, it will have the date, and the date's got to be a weekday date, a date that's not a holiday. If there's a holiday during the weekday, it's a bogus piece of paper. If it's a weekend, it's a bogus piece of paper because you cannot see a judge on the weekend or a holiday during the week. Furthermore, it's got to be signed at the bottom by a judge in a wet signature. And it's got to be stamped by the clerk. It's called a hand stamp. They grip it, and it raises the signature from the paper and gives you a rough feel to it. That to you means that was not counterfeited. Furthermore, it's going to have the date that they can come to your home and what they can do. Speak to you, search your home, take your children. That's got to be on there. That has got to be on there. That is a legitimate warrant.
I got it, so I'm gonna make sure I go back and look exactly what it is, because I still have that. So,
right, yeah.
But that's not on there. So.
Well, if they have that document, right, if they have that document, that's all that they can do is what's listed on there. That's all they can do, what's listed on there. So if they say they can only talk to you, that's all they can do. If they say they can search the home, then that's all they can do. And if they say they can take your child because the child's in danger. See, the child's got to be in danger before they take your child.
Well, no. The police officer told me, I asked him if I could record it, what he was doing, and he told me I didn't need to. It was already being recorded.
No.
No,
you got to record it. You got to record everything because don't trust the police. And by the way, the police overstepping their bounds. They're there to protect the social workers, not enforce the law. If they have a law against you, if you broke a civil law, a criminal law, they can arrest you, but they cannot enforce CPS laws on you. They're there to protect the social worker. A lot of people don't realize that. They've stepped over bounds.
And I'll be one of them, sir.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what this whole show is about, is to help educate you about CPS. Now, you can tell the policeman, are you here to arrest me? And on what grounds? And then you got to be read your rights. and you got to allow them to make
No.
one phone call, which is usually a call your attorney. But that's what a policeman are supposed to do. They're supposed to maintain law and order and serve the people, not antagonize the people and do illegal things such as shoot them dead. And I'm telling you about a black airman, May 3rd, in Gainesville, Florida. Answer the door. He was shot by a Gainesville sheriff 5 times in the chest as he was talking to his fiancée on the phone and died.
My God.
And the mother in Alabama was just distressed because her son was only 26 years old and serving in the United States Air Force. And he was stationed at an Air Force base nearby. So that policeman, that's why you don't open doors. Your home is your castle. There's only 3 ways a policeman can get in your home. If you give them permission, or a family or a friend gives them permission, they can enter. And if you have a warrant served to you, you have to follow what's on the warrant. And lastly, if there's ongoing danger going on, such as a child being beat up or hurt, they will break in the door. But if they break in the door, none of those things applicable, then you can sue them for illegally breaking and entering in your home. Whatever you do, do not resist arrest. Tell them that if you're arresting me, I need to know what you're arresting me for, and then follow what they're going to do. They will take your children for safety's sakes if your children are at home, because they need someone to watch the children.
According to the police officer, he told me that he was taking my daughter because he was told that they was taking her because the school system wanted to do testing on her instead of her getting the testing that was going to be done by the person I had chosen. The school system wanted to do testing so they could find themselves not liable for any harm or damage they did to her by not allowing her to attend school for all those years.
Yeah. Well, what
ended up is that director became her guardian. The director of social services became a guardian, and she had testing done to her on her school system, which she's a school board member of. And they found nothing, according to them, was out of the norm for her.
Well, first of all, the school cannot demand things from your children. You signed a bunch of paperwork at the beginning of the school year that tells you what the school can do. You signed an emergency card so children cannot be picked up by strangers. If that policeman is not on that card, he can't touch your children. This is a lot of things you need to know. So it is hard. It's so hard what you're going through.
Oh, yeah, because a lot of it, like I said, I never knew. I never knew family court. You could just stand in the court and say something, and, you just thinking it's fine, and they got to prove it. And when it is not, put what they want up there and add what they want to add and do what they want to do. And the judge is looking and say they could care less.
Right.
So that's definitely wrong. And I recommend that they, like police wear cameras, these social workers need to wear cameras too.
Right.
And not all of them is bad. I don't bash everybody because not every social worker is bad. There are good ones out there, there's bad ones out there.
I agree.
But
I agree.
There needs to be some medium area where everybody can get a fair game. Everybody can get a fair, you doing your job right, you ain't got nothing to hide. I'm fair it the best I can. I don't have nothing to hide either. You tell me what it is I need to do, let's get it done.
Right.
But they never said I did it. I wanted to do anything. And I voluntarily, once they came in, I voluntarily took parenting class and passed it all and gave them my certificate.
Right.
So
now,
there was no problem. So
right. The policeman's primary support there is to protect the social workers, not do their dirty work. But they're so naive and dumb. They're supposed to protect our citizens and they're supposed to serve our citizens. But instead, they sometimes take on things that are not their responsibility. Now, I want to say hello to Daniel Watt. She's from Georgia. She's a single mother that has adopted her son who's special needs. And her son was stolen by CPS when he was transported from ICPC, which is the Interstate Compact Placement for Children, from Georgia to Texas. And he was lost into age 19. When you're age 18, you're allowed to go home. You're allowed to get out of the foster care system. So anyway, thank you, Danielle, for coming to my room. It's good to see you, and I'm doing well. We have a Mrs. Cook on the phone from North.
Sir, I appreciate it. Excuse me, sir, I'm sorry.
It's okay, Dorothy. I want to help you, and I'm glad that you've been on my show several times. Now, being on my show will qualify you for a free 15-minute private consultation with one of the best attorneys in the country. He is Vincent Davis, who's been for 39 years fighting CPS and gotten thousands of children back. And now you qualify for a free 15-minute session. Would you like that? All you have to do, Dorothy, to set it up. Right. All you have to do, Dorothy, is to text me at 626-698-0990 with your full name, your email, and your phone number. Those three things. When you send that to me, I'll forward you on to my show producer, Grace, who will get you set up with Mr. Davis for a private Zoom consultation. Make a list of questions and prioritize them and ask away at Mr. Davis, and he will help you. He will help you.
Well, I greatly appreciate it, sir. And you sure have been a blessing to me today, because I didn't know. Now I can kind of quite understand more.
Yeah, well,
why things took place.
Right.
So,
the internet is
thank you so much.
Really a fun. The internet is found hundreds of stuff about, for instance, how to find a lawyer. Deal with the state bar. There's a directory online that helps you. It can
Two
7660.
7660.
And you can get a referral to a lawyer. And they have, in North Carolina, they only charge $50 for initial 30-minute consultation. $50 for a 30-minute consultation. And that's something that,
well, that I will.
Yeah, that that's something that can help you, because you have to hire an attorney to understand what you've been charged. They're the only ones. It's like open heart surgery. You cannot repair a heart unless you have a doctor do it. And that's why you need a lawyer. And you can find rules regarding lawyer fees online. I'm at a very good website here called the www.nccourts.gov. That's the North Carolina Courts. www. And I'm looking at the help topics. I'm looking at the help topics of how to find an attorney and what the responsibilities of a court-appointed attorney is.
Okay.
So that's another website. So I got some homework. I've given you doge.gov, and I've given you the North Carolina courts, and they have the help topics, and they will help you with your case.
Well, I will get to looking into it. I know mine took place like in 2017, but I mean, it may be the statute of limitation I ran about, but hopefully there's something that
Never
if I
give
can't
up.
help myself, I can help somebody else.
Yep, never give up. But I do have to end my
Amen.
live stream because I've gone over an hour. It's now 11 o'clock. And I want to thank you
All
very,
right,
very
sir.
much for calling in and talking,
All right.
Dorothy. Thank
You be
you.
blessed now.
Yeah, you be blessed too. Thank you, Danielle Watt from Arizona. Thank you for coming in. Also, thank you, Little Nugget. I know that you're really worried to death, but if you're part Indian, you need to be registered with your North American tribe. I want to help you, Little Nugget. And thank you so much for all you people calling in. Thank you for the emojis from the Sarah Partrell and Dorothy Cook. God bless you all. I'll see you tonight at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This is Bob Pace signing off. God bless you.